Thank you, everyone, for joining the Doc Shop Pro webinar this evening. Looks like folks are still getting set up. While they do, a few housekeeping notes. Everyone is muted. Questions can be submitted as we go, and you can utilize the chat throughout. This webinar will be recorded for future distribution. Tonight's topic is making 2021 your best year ever. Leading us this evening is Rem Jackson, CEO of Top Practices. For those not familiar with us, Doc Shop Pro is a one-stop platform for your office. You can use our platform to cross-comparison shop for daily supplies, find ancillary products and capital equipment. You can utilize our partner programs for options on wound care, diabetic shoes, and custom AFOs, or you can even find new patients. With our My Supply Manager, we can help you take the process of reordering supplies, including brand names and generics, across dozens of different vendors and manufacturers, something that's often an hours-long chore, and transform it into something you can do in single-digit minutes. In fact, we even carry some of our competitors' products. Almost always, we can save you some money along the way. With our inventory management system, we can help you track inventory and monitor par levels, even if you never order anything from our site. Doc Shop Pro is designed to be plug and play for workflow and staff changes at your office. Registration is free, and we can perform a free cost analysis anytime. We're here to help you save money and to help independent practitioners remain independent. This evening, we're joined by Rem Jackson, founder and CEO of Top Practices, a company dedicated to helping physicians maximize productivity and profitability. Rem is a fellow of the American Academy of Podiatric Practice Management, a renowned national speaker, author, and a member of the Podiatry Hall of Fame. We're honored to have him with us. And with that, Rem, the floor is yours.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar. It's an absolute delight for me to be asked to give this presentation tonight at the end of 2020. And I'm especially delighted to be asked to share this forum with Doc Shop Pro. I will tell you something that the doctors that I work with all over the country, when they talk about Doc Shop Pro, not only as a company, but their customer service, what they do, how they deliver everything, and the savings that they have, it truly is one of those really valuable tools that all of my doctors use. And I just get rave reviews about them all the time. So I'm just delighted to be asked to do this together with Doc Shop Pro tonight. So thank you all very, very much. Now, this recording was when we first conducted it on, December 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern, was not quite recording in the beginning. So I'm going to record just a few moments of the beginning of this presentation, and then we will switch over to the rest of the presentation, which is by far the bulk of all of the time. So you'll notice a change in the way the video appears. And that's just because I had to go back and recreate some of these just initial slides for you, just a few. So anyway, thank you very much. Now, one of my favorite quotes really of all time is by Eric Hoffer, and it's, "In times of change, the learners will inherit the earth, while the knowers remain beautifully prepared for a world that no longer exists." And folks, we are in times of change. We are in rapidly accelerating change, and that has been even accelerated more and drastically impacted by the crisis that we've gone through this past year and continue to move through right now. Another quote that I want to share with you comes from Napoleon Hill, the great author of Think and Grow Rich and so many other great books. "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or a greater benefit." And that is very true inside this very dark, difficult cloud that we are currently facing right now. The COVID-19 crisis and the 300,000 people that we've lost is a dark, terrible, nasty, awful cloud. And I would never want to suggest that it's not. And it's been problematic and very difficult and challenging for not just those of us in the United States, North America, but all over the world. In the midst of all of it, though, there are silver linings. And I'm going to talk about just a couple of those very quickly, and then move on to some strategies to help make sure that your 2021 is the best year you've ever had in practice in any measurement or any metric that you would choose to use. So often when we experience troubles or problems, we see them as this large obstacle in front of us, this immovable object that we cannot get around. And Ryan Holiday wrote a fantastic book called The Obstacle is the Way. And I can't tell you the number of times that in my coaching with our doctors that we've discussed this, that problem, the thing that wakes you up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3:30, that's got your mind racing, is actually the path forward. You either go through it, under it, around it, or you build another path and you go a different direction. You have to look at that. But here's the moment we're in right now. I really do believe that, and they say that these kinds of viruses, these coronaviruses, Spanish flu, SARS, or whatever, typically have a first wave that is rather deadly. And then we have a much larger second wave, which we're obviously in now, that is not as deadly for a variety of reasons. But then they precipitously drop off. And that's coming. That falling off a cliff and ending all of this is coming. And that, with the good news that we heard about the vaccines that are going to be rolling out, caused me to believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not a train. There really is light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, I think when we get out on the other side, and it's actually April, actually May, there's going to be a pretty nice spring and a lot that we can begin to look forward to. And I think most of us are going to clock in 2021 at one of the better, if not the best years that you've ever had. And I want to help support you in that. But here's the number one silver lining that I shared last time, and I want to just share with you one more time today. And it's this: you can control yourself and how you think. Frustration is a choice. Patience is a choice. Anger is a choice. Love is a choice. You can control yourself and how you think, and no one can impact that unless you let them. You can see this future. Now, here's the thing. Here's some more silver linings. Here's some of mine. In fact, before I show you that, back in April, one of my doctors had been on another call, a mastermind call with some group, and someone had said, go out 5 years and write a thank you letter to COVID-19. What would be the things you might say were positives that came out of this rather difficult experience? And I'll tell you, those of you that know me know I've always had a challenge with my weight. I've struggled with it. There was a time, none of you knew me, I weighed 420 pounds. And when this all happened, I thought, boy, no travel, no restaurants. I should be able to finally lose this weight. And the first month I gained 4 pounds. So I said to myself, well, you know what, Rem, I guess you didn't mean it. That's it. You didn't mean it. All this time you're like, I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to do it. You didn't mean it. And then I responded to myself, by the way, it's okay to talk to yourself. It's okay to answer yourself. But if you catch yourself saying, what'd you say? Then you probably should seek professional help. I answered myself and I said, doggone it, that's not true. And so since June 1st, I've lost 60 pounds. I'm only 18 pounds away from the goal that I had of 250. I may go to 230, I don't know. My A1C, this is a guy that a long time ago took 2,000 milligrams of metformin every day to control his out of control type 2 diabetes. I have 4.9 A1C. And my doctor literally said to me last month, Rem, you are 10 years younger this year than you were last year at this time, because the numbers that you have are what people try to get when they have anti-aging numbers. I'm walking every morning and I do 100 push-ups every day, which I had to really work up to, but that's a silver lining that I've been able to achieve because I've stayed focused. Some of the things I'll share with you tonight. I'll tell you, now, I know this is not the case across the board for many people, but I'll tell you, the people that I work with that are focused on their marketing and their management and their mindset are reporting that their collections here at the end of the year are as good as last year, and in multiple cases have exceeded last year. Their 2020 numbers are going to beat their 2019 numbers in spite of all that happened. And people were finding a lot of increased efficiencies. I want you to think about this too. This is going to end. This is going to end. And when it ends, you're not going to have to Distance people, keep them separated in your reception room, use all the personal protective equipment, take temperatures, use questionnaires, and do all of the additional burdensome work you're doing now. And my advice would be, don't go back to the way you operated before. Take that efficiency, use it, and steal back some of that time. I suggest you steal back 3 hours a week that you're working during working hours in your practice on strategy, marketing, meetings, and your cash position, which I really want to spend some time with you on tonight. And don't give it back. In fact, if you've got enough of it, then use some of it for yourself. And literally, I mean this, Fridays, afternoons, whatever you want to do this, if go fishing, go skiing, whatever it is you do, go do it and steal back that time for you. Don't go back to the old ways. And don't start thinking about that obstacle. In fact, we just want to blow through that obstacle. Because here's the thing, folks. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford said that all those many years ago. Your mindset determines everything. And I want to try to help you through with some of that. Now, the question is where to start. Where do we start here in 2021? Now, I'll tell you where you start. Number one, know what you actually want. What I try to teach the doctors that I work with is if you don't have specific goals, both in your business, collections and numerous things like that, in your personal finances, in your personal life, in your health life, and your fun life, you're not going to go there. George Harrison said, any road is, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So you have to, first of all, spend some time and work through what you actually want. Second, you then create a simple, focused plan to achieve it. And then you do it. That's it. You have to first put a line in the sand. This is what I'm going to do this year. And then ask, if you don't know, ask for help. Figure it out, but create a simple, focused plan that will get you there. And then you have to do it. Along the way, what we always do is evaluate and tweak it based on your results. The thing is, every goal that you write down should be written in pencil or on a document that you can erase, because we may revise them in numerous ways, but without them, you can't get there. And there's one more thing, but I'll share that with you a little bit later. Now, there are fundamentals in business, and that's what we're talking about. And here's the first one. Remember, accept this fact. You're a business person. You didn't go to school to be a business person. They didn't teach you how to be a business person, but you're in business. You have a practice, and that is a business. You need to be profitable. And this is a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. Nobody can get in your way except yourself. And patient care and exceptional outcomes for your patients are your true mission. That is really what you do every single day. And by the way, you're awesome at it because that's what you were trained to do. And the last business fundamental I want to talk about is you have to focus on your profitability and your cash flow. And folks, this is how to have the best 2021. This is where to start in knowing what you want. Focus on being profitable and your cash flow. So there's a saying in business that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. And I just noted profit is misspelled. What does that mean? Revenue is vanity. So, somebody might tell you, I've got a $5 million practice. I don't care. I don't care what you tell me your revenues are. I want to know the second line, and that is, what's your profit? What are the margins that you're producing to generate that $5 million? And at the end of the day, what do you pay yourself? The last one is cash is king. You've heard this over and over again. Cash is king. That means that if you don't have a pipeline that is full of good quality business that's going to fill your bank account so that you have at least 3 months operating capital saved up and you can pay your bills, pay your staff, make investments, you're going to always, always struggle. So cash is king. Never forget this. Most practitioners, most podiatrists they only know what their cash position is because if there's no money in the bank account, I mean, this is literally something I've heard very often as well. Right now, there's no money in my bank account, in the checking account. So, what happened? You need to know where your money is at all times. And these are fundamental management practices, but you start there, knowing that we're going to fill up your bank accounts with cash that allows you to do everything that you need to do. We're going to talk in a minute about one of the primary ways to do this. But I want to just take a small diversion and share this with you. HBR stands for Harvard Business Review. You can go online and Google Harvard Business Review or just HBR and an article called 3 Rules for Making a Company Truly Great. This is a fantastic and short read. But here are the 3 rules. Rule number 1, better before cheaper. Now, here's the thing. They did a study, a really extensive study of companies over long periods of time. And they were trying to find out, why are there some companies that they categorized as miracle workers? These miracle worker companies just always did great. And no matter what happened in the market, no matter what happened in the economy, they just kept performing always. Then they had others that that did okay. They had others that did well, but not the miracle workers. And they started to look into it. Was it a commitment to customer service? No. Was it all kinds of Six Sigma approaches towards running systems and making things? No. By the way, not that those aren't important, not that those didn't factor in, but every company didn't do it. But what every company did that was a miracle worker focused on being better, not ever competing on price, always competing on other benefits that were much, much better. And that's a list of things. And those things were different, but they did not, if they had orthotics, they weren't the cheapest ones on orthotics. They weren't the cheapest ones here. If they were selling lasers, they weren't trying to be cheaper than the person down the street. They always focused on being better. And the second part of that I will share with you is that if you need a particular piece of equipment to be able to build your revenues up, you get it. That's rule number 2, revenue before cost. What that means is this. By the way, there's nothing wrong with doing a cost review, looking at your profit and loss statement and trying to be as efficient as you can and spend the least. Don't be wasting money. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be a miracle worker company, you were much more focused on being able to generate bigger and higher revenue, or collections in our case. So if you need that laser that takes care of warts, or that device that takes care of warts, you get it. If you need one to take care of pain, you purchase it. You make the investments. You talk to the best people you can and say, yeah, I did that and it worked really well. Because if you don't make these investments before you have the money, Hal Ornstein one time said, I never had the money to do what I needed to do, but I listened to smart people that told me I should do it, and the money followed. I've always remembered that. And so you make these investments, and if you have to make a choice between person A or person B for a job, but person A wants X amount more because that's what they need to be able to accept the position, take the person that wants the most. If they're the right person, they need to be the right person. But if they're the right person, don't settle. And then rule number 3, there are no other rules. This is actually, when they published this article, people said, well, that's not a rule. And they said, well, the problem is it is kind of a rule, because it turns out if you are simply trying to be the best in your market, in our case, just providing the absolute best care with the best patient care, the best customer service, and you have all the things that you need to be able to generate new sources of revenue and to build your per visit revenues and your dollars per hour, there's nothing else that you do. If you just focus on those, you're going to have a heck of a year. Now, there are 3 points of leverage that allow you to focus on in a podiatry practice. Those are patient volume. That's the number and the quality of patients that come into your practice every single day. They are what your per visit revenue is, which is on average, how much revenue is generated in your practice every time a patient walks in the door. The national average is 95. Most of the top practices that I know are somewhere between 145 and 220, somewhere in that ballpark. That's a critical number for you to be able to focus on. And last one is, what does your practice generate every hour that it's open? And that's different than every time a patient walks in the door. Those numbers can be very useful. And I invite you to go back and review the last webinar that I did with DocShop Pro, which is, I believe, on their site inside their webinars. And you can have me go into some depth on per visit revenue and dollars per hour. But tonight, I want to talk about patient volume. You want to have the patient volume. Everybody's patient volume is different. You are comfortable at certain levels that Dr. A will be different than Dr. B. I will tell you that the sweet spot that I have found is around 32 patients a day for the average podiatrist. Some of you are seeing 40 and you're happy. Some of you are seeing 50 and you're happy. Some of you are seeing 24 or 27 and you're happy. But 32 is around the sweet spot that I've noticed. Whatever that number is, every single day or every week, you want to make sure that 20% of the patients you're seeing are generated as new patients because of your good marketing, outreach, and customer service efforts, because that's what's going to help you stay really healthy and grow. So that's a number to watch very carefully. So now I want to talk to you about how to market. You've heard me, many of you, talk about the 4 pillars of marketing. That is online marketing, referral marketing to medical and non-medical referral sources around you, marketing internally to your own list of people, and things you might do out in the community. Those are the 4 pillars. But I want you to spend a little minute with me now and think about a new way to plan your marketing. You and your staff can do this. So you start with 5 talking points for your brand, and only 5. And you have to think about, what are they going to be? Now, let me share with you what we at Top Practices developed for our company first. So number 1 is mindset. If you are on my email list, or you are exposed to anything that I put out there for the podiatric market, you will notice, like even this evening, I'm talking about how you think, what your mindset is. Because if you don't have that straightened out, it doesn't matter. I can teach you anything at all about marketing your practice. It won't matter. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Number 2 thing we focus on at Top Practices is marketing and management, because that's what we coach on, teach on, and help with. Number 3, we focus on taking action. Because again, you can't just learn things, you've got to do the things. You've got to be immersed in the process. Number 4 is our products and services. At Top Practices, we have products, we have services, coaching groups, other things. And we want to tell people about it, just like you want to tell people, that you've got orthotics for plantar fasciitis. You want to help runners. We do the same thing. And then lastly, a bit about our story, which we've actually, since I created this slide, we've actually just thought about this, that's a little bit more about inspirational things, and I'll share that with you in a minute. Now, here's my suggestion on 5 great talking points for a podiatry practice, for your podiatry practice. My advice to you is to look at these, work on this with your staff, think about this, and then lock in on what you think is good for you. But this is a pretty good start. Number 1, procedures you would like to see more. Thing is, not everybody wants to have just anybody walk through the door. There are things that you prefer to do, you enjoy more as a podiatrist. There are things that are more profitable and good for your business. And you want to make sure that you're talking to people. If you want to see more heel pain, you should be discussing heel pain far more than making sure that we take a good job of, let's say, clipping your toenails. Not that there's anything wrong with clipping toenails, but they'll still come. Talk about what you want to see every single day. Number 2, healthy tips and facts that you can share with other people. This is just, how do you do stretching? How can you, all the little healthy things you teach all the time. Number 3, fun stuff about your office. People like to know they're going to a place that is relaxed and enjoyable. I'll give you some examples in a moment. Also, as long as you can do this in your state, testimonials and success stories. Some of you can only do success stories. Always check your state. And last one I would suggest are inspirational quotes, books, ideas. Don't just be all about bunions, bunions, bunions. You know, the people want to be engaged and kept interested in this stuff. Matters. We are swimming, folks, in an ocean of negativity. And all of us really appreciate that positive thought, that useful thing that isn't just tearing everything down, but is in fact building it up. Then I want you to decide on the theme of the month. This is easy. Diabetes, heel pain, runners, ingrown toenails, fungal toenails, do it again. Just decide what we're going to do more of in this particular month. And then here's how you build this simple marketing calendar. Let's look at week one. Week one, we're going to, on Monday, this is Mondays now. Remember, 5 talking points, 5 days of the week. And so Mondays, we're going to talk about, and 4 weeks in the month, right? So Monday, week one, fun fact about the doctor. All of you have interesting things about you. Have someone in your staff take pictures of you in the office, having a, just relaxed and there at the office, and put something fun about you, where you went to school or something interesting. Week number 2 on Monday, put a fun photo of the staff. There's all kinds of things you're doing at your office, and just put something fun, tasteful, but fun. Week 3, maybe a holiday photo, certainly right around this time of the year. And week 4, an example would be a sock drive that we're doing or something like that. Tuesdays are going to be Tuesday tip for your health. So on week 1, you want to do your newsletter. Everybody should do a newsletter every single month. At minimum, you should email them out to your patients, put them on your website, put them in your social media. Week 2 could be just a great recipe. There's tons of them that you can share. Week 3, how to buy a running shoe. Week 4, the right way to keep your skin hydrated and healthy. On Wednesday, this month, we're going to do a heel pain video. What is it? And folks, I'm here to tell you, you need to get good at doing 1.5-minute videos. Just come to Top Practice's website, go up at the top on resources, learning resources, and click on our videos. And you'll see myself, Dr. Peter Wishney, Tina Del Buono, doing good, informative videos. That's how you do it. It's just simple, short, and sweet. Anyone can do this. People will say to me, Rem, I really, I don't have time to do videos. Not true. Not true. You don't want to do videos, but you have to do them. They are absolute rocket fuel for your marketing, and you'll get good at them. But do a heel pain video on week 1. Week 2, how do orthotics help? Week 3, treatments for heel pain that you offer. Week 4, no one has to live with heel pain. These can be photographs, they can be videos. Testimonial Thursday. Week 1, a testimonial about heel pain. Week 2, get a testimonial about great staff. Week 3, a heel pain testimonial. Week 4, testimonial. You might say, I don't have any testimonials, Rem. And I would say, okay, well, it's time to start to get those because they are another form of rocket fuel. All of us want to know what other people say about you, not what you say about you. I can tell you all night long about how Top Practices can transform your practice and make things better. But if someone else tells you, hey, you know what? They really did help me, that is infinitely more valuable than anything I could ever say. And then on Friday, just put a great quote out there. There are millions of those things, and they're all great. TGIF kind of stuff. Give a favorite book to recommend. I mean, in my newsletter this month, I sent out a recommendation that you should read a great book by Daniel Brown called The Boys in the Boat, because it's a great story about the 1936 crew team that went to Germany and won the gold medal, right, while Hitler was watching them and cheating. And it's about teams and it's great. And that's just something, it's got nothing to do. It's tangentially related to my business because it really can help you. But by the way, it's a fabulous book, and it should be a movie, might be a movie at some point. Number 3, great inspiring story. And then number 4, a great quote. And that's what you do. So you build this calendar, 5 days of the week, 5 posts based on the day of the week. Now, I want you to do at least 1 video per week produced by you that goes out. And I want you to also send 1 email a week to your list. Don't send more, but send one. And make sure that it's varied at different days of the week and during the month. Maybe that email is just your inspirational thing on a Friday. But send one email out to your list every week. You need to stay in touch and nurture that list. So now I'm going to show you 2-week examples. First week of the month, Monday, fun fact about the doctor. Tuesday, your newsletter goes out. Wednesday, you send out a heel pain video. What is it? Thursday, there's a testimony about heel pain. And then Friday, a great quote. Week 2, Monday, fun photo of the staff. Tuesday, great recipe. Wednesday, how do orthotics help? Thursday, testimonial about great staff. And Friday, a favorite book to recommend. Those are just examples. Now, you have to schedule this stuff out way ahead of time so you don't sit around and go, I don't know, what should we do this week? That's where we really get stuck. You're too busy to think about it. In Top Practices, we have January's marketing calendar completed, and we are almost done with February's. And then when January 1st hit, we're going to be working on March's so that there's no, high school play and we have to all do this. You just very simply get your staff. Who wants to take pictures? Who wants to put some content together? Short little paragraphs. It doesn't take much. Remember, 1 email a week. Vary that in your talking points. Make sure on your website you are occasionally putting up a blog, an article, and a frequently asked question. That is gasoline that drives your website. And then social media every day. Yep. Every day. I said it. Every day. Instagram every day, maybe twice. And this isn't hard. Somebody in your practice does this already in their personal life. Help them help you do this. And here's the thing. There are companies that will help you put this content together, and they try and they do fine. But we've noticed that when it's authentically you with photographs of you and simple messages and videos, that the engagement goes up dramatically. So you have to just take this back, take control of this yourself. You can take some of this stuff and put it in your office. You can do nice little posters, little things you just stick up in a 8.5 by 11 and a stand in your treatment rooms and vary them up. Even you can do things in print. This is part of the whole 4 pillars of marketing that we really try to work with. And when you do this, you should start to see in 2021, most especially, your practice grow like the hair on top of a Bob Ross chia pet. That's my hope for you. Bob Ross chia pet growth in 2021. George Patton said, wars are won by people that actually go out and do something. Listen, that's how it works, folks. You can't watch a webinar and think, that was awesome. I might just do something like that. You need to get serious, make up your mind, and then do it. And remember, to build up that patient volume, you've got to do it online marketing. Make sure your website is excellent and is really well optimized. Active social media postings all the time, weekly emails. And I don't want to forget the other pillars. Make sure that you are doing faxes, phone calls. You're sending pizza or coffee, bagels, the M&Ms that we do and more out to those really struggling medical referral sources of yours. And stay as close as you can to them until you can be close to them again. And then internally marketing, remember, weekly emails that go out to your entire list, excellent customer service. Make it a part of your culture that we don't want happy or satisfied patients. We want raving fans for patients. And make sure you pay attention. Excuse me, said a little hiccup there. Make sure that you pay attention to how your phones are being answered and handled. It's one of those areas we always think it's going well, and it's never going as well as you think it is. Pay close attention to your phones, because that's where we can really mess things up. And then the last of the 4 pillars is external marketing, sponsorships, fairs. These things are tough right now, but they're coming back, and we want to make sure that we're out there and we're engaged. And this is how we help you in Top Practices. But remember, if anything tonight, start to track and pay attention. Know your accounts receivables. Where is the money? Why didn't that come in? What's the pipeline? How are we filling it up? If you get good at this, then you will not struggle. And you won't struggle the next time there's a crisis like this one, which I hope is a long time from now. You won't struggle when there's an economic downturn. Podiatry practices are remarkably resilient in down markets and in problems like this because you're essential. People can't not come see you. No matter what's going on locally for you, people are still coming. You know it's true because we've all made up our minds. Yeah, all right, whatever. I'm still going to see my doctor. That's how we go. This is where you start to have your best year ever. Don't start here. Don't focus on the problems. Don't look at them and say, I can't get around them. What am I going to do? You don't understand, Rem. It's bad here. It's worse here. It's worse for me. You don't understand my partner. You don't know my spouse. None of that. There's ways through all of it. The obstacle is the way. Solve the problem because, folks, we're not at the beginning, we're not in the middle, and we're not at the end. That end is coming, and that end is going to be pretty great. And you might as well be as healthy and as strong and able to capitalize on that so that you can really do with your career as the business that you accidentally got involved in helps fund and takes care of the financial, emotional stability and security of your family and the ones that you love. And at Top Practices, we are here. That's our website, and we're here to help you. I will let you know that I'm going to be conducting a Kickstart 2021 boot camp on January 16th. That's a Saturday from 11 to 5, and it's absolutely free if you become a member of Top Practices. If you want to know more about that, my email is just rem@toppractices.com. You can come to the website. I'm happy to talk to you about it, but I will spend the day with you and kick off. We're going to start where I told you to start, but we're going to get pretty granular about it. And there's no cost if you become a member between now and then. I just want you to know that it's something we're doing. This is a quote of mine that I tried to find out who said it. Turns out it's me. Money doesn't make you happy, but being happy can make you a lot of money. If you don't have enough money for safety, food, or shelter, and you get enough money to get safety, food, and shelter, you are way happier. After that, all the way up to people like Jeff Bezos, there's no connection between money and happiness. You start by being happy first. And when you are happy and you are choosing patience and choosing positivity and choosing love and choosing high service to others and being a servant leader to your staff, that's when the cash flow starts to open up. It's a beautiful thing. What do you want? You've got to know, you got to think about it. You have to be intentional about it. And here's that one more thing I promised you. Jeff Olson wrote one of the best business books I've ever read called The Slight Edge. And he says this: be here 1 year from now, immersed in the process, and you cannot not achieve your goals. It has to happen. That's under your control. Even when the problems come, even when the challenges come, even when the stink bombs come, just be here 1 year from now, immersed in the process. And one person said to me a few years ago, Rem, I have been here longer than a year. And, it hasn't kicked in. It hasn't happened. And I said, I know. But the problem is you left out the phrase, be immersed in the process. That's the difference. You have to do things. And when you do things, wonderful things can happen. Thank you very much, everybody. It's an absolute delight to be invited here again. I just want to thank you so much for spending the time with me. And I haven't had a chance to look at, there are some good questions on here we should probably take a look at. So I think maybe I can see all of them. Somebody's asking about, it's a great question. So are you only suggesting Monday through Friday? What about weekends? Okay. Hey, weekends rock, okay? Weekends are great, especially for social media. If I could get you to do it Monday through Friday, I'd be thrilled. Okay, so that's fine. But no, weekends, people actually consume information a little differently on weekends. So yeah, I think sure, post on the weekends, but don't do it at the expense of spending time with your family. Better than ever. And let's see. Nick says content is king. I believe Rem will say more is always better than less. That's okay. Nick's answering, so way to go. Let's see. Hey there, I'm a Bunyan King. I took lockdown time to reevaluate how I practiced. I have streamlined. I now work more efficiently, 70% less patients, less days per week, and more money than I've ever made in 39 years. Branding, niche, and utilizing social media. Right on, right on. It's so nice to talk to you, Hartley. It's great. I'm glad you're there and you're doing what you're doing. And thanks a lot, everybody.
Yep.
Good. If you have any other things, go ahead and put them in there. We'll respond real quick, but I don't want to overstay our time.
No, thank you, Rem. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us tonight. We'll be posting a replay of the event. We at Doc Shop look forward to the chance to work with any of you. And be safe and have a good night. That's it for me.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.